Hello, my name is Michael J, and before we get started with the exercises, I'd like to explain a little bit about what and who will be involved in this video. This video will consist of over 20 exercises containing a number of different rudiments and rhythms, with short explanations on how valuable it is for every drummer to learn these rhythms and backsticking. From the booklet, Lee will be playing all of the exercises. He spent years in drum corps shows and competitions learning many different sticking techniques. Every exercise will first be done slow enough so everyone can learn the sticking patterns. Then you'll be able to build up a tempo at your own rate in order to play the next 2 meters that are given. We'll have Jackie Santos from the band Tavares explain how important it is for you to feel the groove and a solid perfect time with a strong attack on the drum kit. Then Joe Pett from the Joe Perry Project will use some 4-part independence in his rock fusion style drumming, showing you how to use some of these exercises on the kit. And before we get started, keep in mind that you might get a little frustrated, but remember it'll take time to master the sticking techniques, and like everything else, you only get out what you put into it. Just remember that time will give you good coordination, perfect timing, and excellent stick control using various different rhythms. Let's start off with record producer Hirsch Gardner from the band New England. He'll give us his knowledge as a producer and a drummer working in the studio. His tips will help you become a better prepared drummer in and out of the studio.
As a record producer, what do I look for in your performance? It's important that I have all the soul and the natural ability that you have. I want power. I want perfect timing. I want the song played perfectly every single time. That's what I look for as a record producer, and that's what I want out of your performance. More specifically speaking, to prepare yourself for the recording studio, we'll go through a process called pre-production. Drummers in pre-production, the most important thing that you can do is learn how to play with a drum machine or click track if you already haven't. If you've mastered that technique, terrific. If not, this is the way to do it. Set yourself up a drum machine through a set of headphones, probably with an amplifier, so that you can hear yourself over the band. If you're recording a song with the tempo is about 120 beats per minute, set it up at 120, and every time you play through the song, play it with the click track. Now, there's several reasons for recording with a click track. Number one, it's going to give you perfect time, which is very, very important for several reasons. One of the main reasons, when your guitar player is doing double-tracked rhythm guitar overdubs, for instance, if you don't use a drum machine and you're starting the song out at 120 and it goes to 124 beats a minute and then back down to 119 beats a minute, how is your guitar player going to really put a great performance down when the drummer is going all over the road? That's stated pretty simply, but I've seen it happen in the studio before where people come in unprepared and then make the life miserable for everyone else who's overdubbing after that. Number two, there's a technique that we're using now called flying in vocals, where you're probably only going to record one chorus of background vocals. And what you're going to do is take that one chorus and insert it in the second chorus and the third chorus. If the song is at 120 beats a minute, by the end of the song, if you're not using a click, it's at 126. These choruses will not fit in the song because they're at a different tempo. So I think that that's probably the most important aspect of pre-production for a drummer, is learning how to play with the click track and learning how to groove with it. What are the important aspects of a song form and the parts that a drummer is playing in the song, in the studio? I can't stress the importance of pre-production and learning the parts that you're going to play in pre-production for the studio. Once you've chosen what drum parts you're going to play the same licks all the time. Don't change. If you want a chance to do a drum solo, then at the end of the recording session, go ahead and play all your licks. But when you're doing the song, play the same parts over and over. What's this going to do? Basically, if you're doing a certain type of drum fill from the verse going into the chorus, if you've played that drum fill 60 times, it's going to be stronger and stronger and stronger every time you've played it. If you're in the studio experimenting with drum fills, going from one section to another, you're just going to be wasting everyone's time. You're probably not going to play the part correctly. So I would suggest that when you're writing your drum parts, get them down in pre-production. Once you get in the studio, you're playing the exact same thing all the time.
Now let's get started on the exercises. All of these exercises are played doing rhythms hand to hand, so no matter if you're right or left-handed, your weakest hand will build the strength to feel as equal as your strong hand. These rudiments will help your hands be more consistent with each other. So let's begin by opening your booklet to exercise number 1. Take everything slow and don't be afraid to use your rewind control. The important thing is the rudiment. So after you master the rudiment or the rhythm, try to learn the backsticking. Just for now, concentrate on the stick control.
Section 1, Exercises. Exercise 1, single paradiddle, 4 measures, 60 beats per minute. Exercise 2, double paradiddle, 6 measures, 60 beats per minute. Exercise 3, triple paradiddle, 8 measures, 60 beats per minute. Exercise 4, paradiddle diddle, 6 measures, 60 beats per minute. Exercise 5, roughs, 2 measures, 60 beats per minute. Exercise 6, drags, 4 measures, 60 beats per minute. Exercise 7, double ratomaquees, 6 measures, 60 beats per minute. Exercise 8, triple ratomaquees, 8 measures, 60 beats per minute. Exercise 9. 5-stroke rolls, 4 measures, 60 beats per minute. Exercise 10. 6-stroke rolls, 4 measures, 60 beats per minute.
There are many important practice areas a drummer must consider in order to develop into a good player. One of the more important aspects is the development of your four-way coordination. Now, one of the ways I went about helping me to develop that coordination was to take the rudiments and to break them down and apply them to the drum set. I'll use a 5-stroke roll, for example. When I was first taught how to play the 5-stroke roll, it was double stroke leading to the right and then alternating to the left. So it was right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left. Okay. The other was to take that same pattern and just play to the right side and continue leading with the right hand. Okay. Alternate, play to the left, and continue with the left. Okay, now that's 3 ways to play that as a double stroke. You can take the same 5 strokes and play them as 5 single strokes, first alternating left to right. Okay, the other is to play it to the right and just continue on that side. To the left, the same thing. So there's 6 different variations of playing that one rudiment. Now, when you lead to the left, all you right-handed drummers can help develop that left hand by spending more time on the left side. Same in reverse if you're a left-handed drummer playing with the right-hand lead. So now you're getting more out of just learning how to play the roll just for the sake of the roll, you know, to use as a rhythmic figure. You're using this particular roll to help you to develop your coordination. So there's 6 variations of that roll. Now the next thing you could do is take those 6 patterns, those 6 different 5-stroke rolls, and apply them to the drum set. Now there's 6 combinations. There's your hands is 1, play between your feet is 2, your left side, your right side, left hand right foot, and your right hand left foot. So I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. You can play each one of these patterns all 6 ways, all 6 variations of the 5-stroke roll. So here's a double stroke 5 between your feet. Okay, single stroke 5 leading with the right foot between your feet. Okay, so you take the 6 5-stroke variations and play them all between your feet. Now you can take another combination between your left hand and your left foot and play the same 6 variations of the 5-stroke roll. I'll play a double stroke leading with my left hand and continuing with the left hand. Some combinations can be played faster than others. Okay, I'll take the right hand now with the right foot. This is right hand lead and continuing with the right. Okay, the same can apply to the left hand and right foot. Okay, and then your right hand and left foot. Okay, so I just showed you a couple of examples around the kit, but you can actually take all 6 variations of the 5-stroke roll and play them any six ways in the set. So that comes out to 36 combinations. And if you played each one of them for like a minute and a half every day, you're talking about a good hour just using that 5-stroke roll alone. So you can see how much time's involved in learning how to apply these rudiments and how much time is necessary in order for you to develop into a good player. So with that in mind, you can take the rudiments that Lee played on the tape and you can apply them the same way. You know, become a little bit creative. Start breaking them down, different variations, different combinations. Try leading them to one side if it's an alternating rudiment. And just find out how many ways all these different things could be played and apply them to the drum set. So now you have a lot of material that you can work on to help you to develop your coordination, and it's not as boring and you're not running out of ideas. So with that in mind, keep practicing.
Now that you know the sticking, we'll give you another meter to reach. Slowly build your tempo without losing any time. Play everything solid and even. Make sure you can distinguish the accents from the bottom end of the rudiment. By playing the accents on a separate drum, not only will your wrist, but your whole arm will get more exercise.
Exercise 1. Single paradiddle, 12 measures, 132 beats per minute. Exercise 2. Double paradiddle. 18 measures, 132 beats per minute. Exercise 3. Triple paradiddle, 24 measures, 132 beats per minute. Exercise 4. Paradiddle diddle, 12 measures, 132 beats per minute. Exercise 5. Roughs. 12 measures, 132 beats per minute. Exercise 6. Drags. 12 measures, 132 beats per minute. Exercise 7. Double Rademachew. 12 measures, 132 beats per minute. Exercise 8. Triple Rademachew. 16 measures, 132 beats per minute. Exercise 9. 5 stroke rolls, 12 measures, 120 beats per minute. Exercise 10. 6 stroke rolls, 12 measures, 100 beats per minute.
Okay, the patterns you just heard are things that I've practiced throughout the years to try to get my groove happening. What you heard was, what I did was play the first 3/16 of every beat on the hi-hat, which gives this effect. Then I play whole notes on the bass drum for 4 measures, along with 2 and 4 on the snare. Then for the next 4, I'll play half notes, and then I'll add 1/8 notes, and then 16th notes. And then what I'll do after that is keep that going, and I'll move the backbeat around and mix up my bass drum paddings, giving this effect.
Keep in mind that the backsticking in this video is for the use of drum corps and marching band drummers. So every drummer can learn and use it for coordination, warming up, and wrist exercises. Plus it gives you something else for your brain to think about.
Exercise 1. Single paradiddle. 12 measures, 168 beats per minute. Exercise 2. Double paradiddle. 12 measures, 168 beats per minute. Exercise 3. Triple paradiddle, 16 measures, 168 beats per minute. Exercise 4. Paradiddle diddle, 12 measures, 168 beats per minute. Exercise 5. Roughs. 4 measures, 96 beats per minute. Exercise 6. Drags. 12 measures, 168 beats per minute. Exercise 7, double Rademacher, 12 measures, 168 beats per minute. Exercise 8, triple Rademacher, 8 measures, 116 beats per minute. Exercise 9, 5-stroke rolls, 8 measures, 168 beats per minute. Exercise 10, 6-stroke rolls, 8 measures, 120 beats per minute.
Now, in this section of the video, we'll really put your brain to work by mixing all the rudiments into rhythms. At this point, you have 4 things to think about. Number 1, the actual sticking pattern. Number 2, placing the accents on a different drum. Number 3, the backsticking technique. And number 4, keeping in perfect time and making sure everything you're playing is understood. All of this thinking will strengthen your concentration and will also build up your stamina. Now, it might be a good idea to actually memorize the rhythm first, because if you don't have to read the patterns, you'll have one less thing to do. This will give your mind more room to concentrate on something more important, such as your timing, accents, stick heights, and your control.
Section 2, rhythms. Exercise 11, combine exercises 1 and 4. Exercise 12 combines exercises 2 and 4. Exercise 13 combines exercises 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exercise 14 combines exercises 1, 5, and 6. Exercise 15 combines exercises 5 and 6. Exercise 16 combines exercises 6 and 10. Exercise 17 combines exercises 9 and 8. Exercise 18 combines exercises 10, 5, and 6. Exercise 19 combines exercises 5, 6, and 7.
We've talked generally about pre-production, using click tracks, getting the song formed together. Let's get a little bit more specific now and go up to the drums, talk about getting your drums ready for the recording session. Tuning drums should really not be a mystery. It's quite simple. The approach that I take in tuning drums is this. First of all, take both heads off, flip the drum over, and let's start with the bottom head. Seat the head on the drum fairly tightly. If you need to press down to stretch the head out, do that. Another way to do it is just beat down on the rim so that you know that that head is tight against the drum. The next step would be to press down on the rim. At the same time as you're pressing on the rim, turn the lug until it's tight. Do that all the way around the drum. At that point, you're probably going to have a drum that does ring and it's pretty much in tune. But you may want it a little bit tighter. You may have some ripples around the edges of the drum. Take your drum key, and take each lug and give it a quarter turn. Go to the opposite side of the drum, give it a quarter turn. Once you've got a fairly deep, low sounding snare, tom-tom head, flip the drum over and do the same thing on the other side. I go for very deep, low sounding drums. They have a very, very high-end attack with the stick when you hit it, plus there's a lot of resonance on the low end. Trust your ear when you're tuning your drums. Listen for overtones. If you have overtones, you may want to put a little piece of tape here or there, but not too much tape. I'm definitely against using too much tape on drums. It's a resonant instrument. It should resonate. Probably the single most played instrument in your drum kit is the snare drum. Let's talk a little bit about the technique of playing the snare drum during the song. The rim shot is the way I would approach the backbeats in most songs. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Hit the head and the rim at the same time for a rim shot. It sounds something like this. The wrong way to do it would be to play in the center of the head like this. The rim shot is going to give you a lot of high end. You're hearing the shell ring, you're hearing the rim ring, and you're also hearing the head ring. You need all the high end you can get out of the snare drum so that it cuts directly through the track. Snare drum technique is really, really important, and knowing how to play a snare drum from the beginning of the song to the end can make the difference between a great track and a poorly executed track. A couple general statements before you go into the studio. Make sure all your heads are brand new. Don't put any tape on them. Let the engineer or the producer decide whether we need to tape up the heads. The bass drum, we didn't really touch on that. You might want to take all the padding out of the inside of the bass drum and leave a 6 to 8 inch hole in the front head. We can determine at that point whether we need to fill the bass drum with a little padding or not. But if you've got the hole ready to go and some nice brand new heads, we'll probably get the optimum sound. We're probably going to be using anywhere between 12 and 20 microphones on your drum kit. We're going to have overhead microphones, microphones on the top of the tom-toms, maybe even microphones on the bottom of the tom-toms. possibly 2 to 3 microphones on the snare drum. What I'd like to stress is a lot of times I go into the recording studio and a drummer will have his cymbals right down over the tom-toms. There's no separation of sound there. If I have a tom-tom microphone, it's going to be picking up the cymbals. These cymbals are up nice and high. This is perfect. If you can set up your drum set like this and get used to it, you're going to get much better sound in the studio. The biggest offender is the ride cymbal. Get this ride cymbal off of the tom-tom. Before I came in here tonight, this ride cymbal was down here. That's very, very bad recording technique. Try to get the cymbals away from the drums. You want as much separation of sound. If you can actually spread your tom-toms a little bit apart, that's great too. There's an awful lot to be learned about recording studio technique. The best way to do it is get into a recording studio as often as you can and do a lot of experimenting. That's how I learned to do a lot of the things that I did as a drummer, and as a producer I used a lot of those tricks. Best of luck with your next project, and we'll see you next time.